Good afternoon, dear participants. I request you all to be ready with a paper, a pencil, and an origami sheet. Towards the end of the session, we will be sharing a Google form. Kindly fill and submit it. Thank you.
You can repeat, Sharmishta, and then you people can start. All the best.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Dear participants, once again, I request you to be ready with a paper origami sheet for the activities that we are going to do today. I further request you to fill in the Google form towards the end of the session and submit it. Thank you. Ma'am, may we begin?
Yes, Sharmishta.
Thank you, ma'am. As we gathered today to reflect on integration of arts in teaching languages, we are delighted and honored to have amidst us headmistress, pre-primary, primary and senior, members of the staff and dear colleagues. It is our proud privilege to welcome you all on this glorious day. Dear participants, if I have to introduce this topic very briefly, we can take help of the oft repeated but ever relevant adage, a picture is worth 1,000 words. This adage amply demonstrates the connection of art and language, which we shall explore further in our deliberations today. Let us do an ice-breaking activity. It's always great to start on a positive note. I request all participants to use the chat box and describe one quality of your friend which endears him or her to you. Let me begin with my best friend. I'm writing the name followed by a hyphen and the quality that I really like about her. As I have shared, I request other participants to please share your thoughts about your best friend. Okay, Meetu ma'am is lively. May I have other responses, please? Vibha ma'am is honest. Manisha is social. Hero is humble. Archana passionate. Oh, okay. There are many responses that are coming up. It's really nice. Wonderful responses coming up in nothing like a dose of good thoughts to begin the proceedings. Now, if I ask you that when you were describing your friend, did you recognize him or her? I'm sure we all did. This just demonstrates the association of images with words or art and language. As we move on to the next slide, I request the participants to please raise your hand. Please use the option of raise hand and you can describe the picture that I have just shown you. Anybody, please? I have Shimona ma'am. Shimona ma'am, can you please describe the image?
Yes, ma'am. The kids look happy and lively. They are happy.
Okay. Meena ma'am?
Yeah, the children are playing and enjoying together.
Okay, the children are happy and they are on something. What is it?
They are on a bicycle.
There are other images also in the picture. Can we have a little detail about it?
There is a garden there.
Okay. Can I have Manisha ma'am?
Children are enjoying bicycling and there is a beautiful garden over there and they are very happy.
Oh, wow. Archana ma'am?
Yeah, I feel togetherness is bliss.
Okay, great. Manami ma'am?
It's a spring day and both the friends are, they have gone for a race on a bicycle.
Okay, great. Ekta ma'am? Ekta ma'am, please. I think we have lost connection.
Ma'am, the children want to be together. They want that they should be together moving in a bicycle because he's raising the hand, giving the hand to the other one.
Okay, so the crux is they are enjoying on a bicycle. It's a pleasant day for them. Can we move on to the next image, please?
Ma'am, it's a train. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon, Smriti ma'am. It is a train. So where is the train placed?
On the railway track in a desert.
Okay, in a desert. What exactly is the engine? Is it a modern day train?
It's a steam engine.
Oh, great. Can we move on to the next picture, please? Anybody? I request Meena ma'am. Meena ma'am, can you please?
Disneyland.
Disneyland. Okay. What comes to your mind when you see this picture? Meena ma'am? Okay, I will ask Manisha ma'am. Manisha ma'am, please. Hello.
Disneyland.
Okay, Rashi ma'am. Is there anything that you can connect it with any character?
Yes. Can I tell you?
Cinderella.
Mickey Mouse.
Mickey Mouse.
I feel Mickey Mouse.
We
Okay.
can also connect with
I can connect it with Aladdin.
Okay. It can be connected to Aladdin.
I can relate it to a castle, which you see in Disney movies, like Frozen, Rapunzel, or Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, wow. Wow. That was next level. Very good. Can we move on to the other image, please? Can I have anybody telling me something about this picture? I have Shani.
I see very dark forest, dark and green forest, thick forest.
Okay, I have Shalini ma'am. Shalini ma'am, can you please repeat it again?
Yeah, I see dark, thick green forest.
Oh, great. Anita ma'am, can you please enlighten me about this picture?
I can see this is a jungle. It's a for, I guess, Mowgli, the jungle movie, kind of.
The Jungle Book. Okay. So you're missing Mowgli. Okay. We'll move on to the next.
Mr. मैंने बोला था Mowgli.
Oh, I'm so sorry, ma'am. I'm so sorry. I missed it. I'm so sorry. It's really nice because so many responses are coming. It's really nice. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Can I have anybody telling me about this picture?
It's a circus.
It's a circus. Joy rides.
Entertainment.
Okay, I have many teachers responding at the same time. I'm not able to understand. I'll take one by one.
It is Anand Mela in Bal Bharti, Noida.
Okay, ma'am. Kuldeep ma'am, please repeat.
Anand Mela in Bal Bharti, Noida.
Okay, okay. So
this is full of colors. Full of
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Carnival.
Thank you so much, teachers. Thank you. It was really nice. And, you participated at your best. All answers were really so apt. So let's move further. It was actually Aristotle who opined that man is by nature a social animal. In order to become this social animal, one of the primary needs is to communicate. This leads to the fundamental question of what, why, and how do we communicate? Like we move on to slide the next slide here, you can see the sensory organs. We'll now talk about this. Now, to answer simply, we communicate about whatever we perceive through our sensory organs, and we communicate to convey that information to other and use a commonly understood signals to communicate. These commonly understood signals are called language. And let's go back to early men then. Humans had not discovered language. They still needed to tell each other about various things. So how do you think they did that? They painted pictures, like in the next slide, which shows cave paintings from across the world, where our early men ancestors were trying to describe the world they perceived about them. Hence, art or painting became the first known language to human beings. Now, the question is, we may feel that we have moved ages from that era, but in reality, have we really moved? Let's look at early education in the next slide. It is a colorful classroom. Now, how exactly, why is it, let's find out the reason behind the colorful classroom. When we try and familiarize small children with language, we prefer using books with colorful illustrations, coloring books, methods like finger painting, thumb painting, earbud printing, to teach them. We know instinctively that colors help in developing visual skills of children, followed by oral skills and then kinesthetic skills. Large illustrations help a child to deduce the meaning, followed by sight reading, and hence is the basis for developing reading skills. It helps in developing creativity among children. It has been concluded that cognitive skills develop rapidly in children till the age of 4 to 5 years of age. Art provides a base for experiential learning. It helps to reflect and ensure that learning shifts away from rote methods, enriching the curriculum so that it goes beyond textbooks, like we can see in the next slide. This is the modern education method that we have adopted, wherein we are giving them colorful illustrations, big words to begin, so that they start the reading habit. Now, let us conclude what we have done till now. First of all, communication is essential for human beings. Secondly, communication involves perceiving, forming a legible message, and transmitting through a medium of language. Thirdly, language is the facilitator of communication. Moving on next, we know that art was the first language known to humans. And of course, use of arts in language education can help develop visual skills and enrich the curriculum. Now, dear participants, let's do an activity now to warm up further on this topic. You would require a paper and a pencil to do it. Don't be alarmed, no paper or pen tests. This activity is very simple. As I read the paragraph, you need to listen carefully and draw the words. You have to draw a picture based on your listening to the paragraph. I hope you all are ready. I'll give you a minute to get ready. Okay, here I begin. A warm and muggy day was the perfect weather combination to go to the beach. The water of the sea was crystal clear and deep blue in color. There was not a bit of seaweed in our sight. As one listens to the sound of the waves roaring and the breezy wind of the sea brushing by, you can spot boats sailing in the deep seas. I looked at the people around who were soaking themselves in the sun and were in line to get in the water. Children were making sand castles. Forgive me for my pronunciation. I come again with the paragraph again. A warm and muggy day was the perfect weather combination to go to the beach. The water of the sea was crystal clear and deep blue in color. There was not a bit of seaweed in our sight. As one listens to the sound of the waves roaring and the breezy wind of the sea brushing by, you can spot boats sailing in the deep seas. I looked at the people around who were soaking themselves in the sun and were in line to get in the water. Children were making sandcastles. Now, I request you all to switch on your camera and display the pictures you have drawn. I have Rashi ma'am, I have Vinaya ma'am.
Can you see it, Sharmishta?
No ma'am, I'm not able to see. Let me just...
Okay.
I'll request you to please describe it. Like I have Ekta ma'am's picture. Ekta ma'am has drawn, okay.
Okay, what I have drawn is the sun, and then there is a tree which is depicting that the wind is blowing, and then there are ships in the deep sea, and people are trying to jump in the water, and sandcastle. I hope you are able to see it.
Okay. I have really, what a wonderful array of pictures that I have got, because all the participants have actually switched on their camera and they're showing. So it's a huge round of applause for the artistic skills. It's really nice. It's really nice. Thank you so much. Oh wow, very good ma'am, very nice. It's really nice. Okay, great. It's really nice. Thank you so much. Now, let's analyze the exercise we just did. Let's have a quick brainstorming of the thing. When you heard the paragraph, You started making a mental picture of it and then drew the picture you visualized. There are two inferences of interest here. First, that we first visualize what we hear and then communicate our visualizations to others. Secondly, it is important, and this is really something, that each one has drawn a beach, but there are differences in the drawings as in objects. Like the objects are different, the position is different, and the emphasis that has been given by each candidate is different. This shows that though the words were same for everyone, visualization was different. This difference arises out of the differences in individual contextual frameworks. We visualize in the context of our previous experience and we build on our knowledge further. This difference in context can also be explained with the story I know you all must have heard, but still I will give you a brief about it. That is about 5 blind men trying to describe an elephant. The man who touched the ear felt the elephant was like a winnow. The person who touched the leg felt the elephant was like a column. The person who touched the rope, for him, he described the elephant as a rope, the person who touched the tail. And then there were various other descriptions that were coming, like the one who touched the leg felt like the elephant is like a column. So the person who touched, every person, each of these persons were communicating legibly, but only in a limited sense because they were unable to see the bigger picture. This, dear participants, is the crux. We need to help our students look, appreciate, and understand the bigger picture. And we cannot do it in the confines of traditional rote or chalk and talk methods. We need to help them visualize and visualize the context, and it is here that integration of arts becomes necessary. Let's look at NEP 2020, which emphasizes that school curricula and pedagogy will aim at holistic development of learners by equipping them with the 21st century skills, reducing in curricular content to enhance essential learning, and critical thinking with greater focus on experiential learning. Thus, our NEP 2020 makes a strong case for integrating art with education. We could start with looking at use of drawings and paintings. When we use paintings or drawings in tandem with our language classes, where we ask the students to give visual representation of their understanding, we can easily gauge the comprehension level of students. The educator can also identify the student's unique frame of reference and can modulate learning inputs accordingly. This would help educators incorporate individual learning inputs within the larger plan of study as per curriculum and timetable. This would also encourage expression, communication, and more importantly, the students would appreciate different points of view in understanding the text and discuss with each other to reach a common understanding via selecting the best picture they think suits the text. Now, as we move further, it is theater in education. Well, act well your part. There all the honor lies. These are the famous words of Alexander Pope from the book An Essay on Man. Please cast your minds to childhood, when most of us would enthusiastically go and watch the nearest Ram Leela late into night. Let us recognize the roles these dramas played in educating people. At the time when literacy was limited, the best way of educating people about epics was drama. Hence, we had Ram Leelas, or shadow puppets being used in Rajasthan to tell folklores, or Yakshagan in Karnataka, or Jatra in Bengal. The lyrics and dialogues of these theatre forms were imprinted in people's mind. Besides, children learn some of their first life skills through imitation or pretend play. Thus, when they play act things like house, house, police and robbers, doctor, doctor, they are learning life skills. Hence, why let an entertaining technique like this go unused? Theater is being increasingly used in educational institutions as an alternative method of knowledge dissemination as opposed to rote-oriented methods. Theater is incorporated in classes with an idea of helping the students to think creatively and laterally, apart from showcasing their creativity. The process involves evolving a concept that promotes research, followed by group discussion, then might be writing a script, giving a suitable title or suitable heading of what they are doing, and helping the students to emote. And when they speak, it has to be, they will also learn voice modulation. Theater is the perfect vehicle for 21st century skills, which are the 4 C's: creativity, collaboration, communication, and critical thinking. Now, a student-friendly script can be developed on any lesson from the textbook, and we can do various activities around this script. Like, as you see in the next slide, this is basically students are reading the script silently. The roles, the characters of the play, we are dividing it among students in such a way they can be various groups. We can have multiple groups to cover all the students together. They are silently reading, they are understanding each and every character, they are critically examining the plot and the characters. Further, they can, go about developing the props. Now, this activity will increase the appreciation of students towards the theme by way of preparing props and slogan placards relevant to the script and thematic content. They can also come about developing the stage. Over here, you can see students enacting the play. When the students are enacting a play, it will help students appreciate the skills required for stage production and overcome stage fright. When students work in a group, they become a team. Hence, we are modulating their behavior. We are teaching them to play the whole part as a team. The whole team has to come together. Further, like we can do more activities, like we can ask any number of students, might be 5 or 7 students, to come inside the play. They can choose any role, any character they want to enact, and how their presence in the play would bring a change in the script. Participating in this activity stimulates students' creativity and thought process. Further, we can do is, we can have a turncoat, or we can this is also referred as alternative ending to a story, as we teach our students in the classroom. This activity is based on giving a twist and thereby recreating the ending of the script. This activity involves logical reasoning and critical thinking. Students can definitely, build up a vocab wall to enhance the language adeptness. Students can prepare a vocabulary wall, based on the glossary of the new words they have used in the play. Now, whatever they are doing, the assigned task should have a purpose, and they should finish the task in a stipulated time. Conducting an interview, like in the next slide, all the characters of the play are there, and 2 students from the class can ask questions to these characters. Again, we are promoting reasoning, logical questioning. Definitely, we can recapitulate everything by giving students worksheets. Hence, to conclude, theater is not a mere imitation of life. It is a preparation of life by choosing, observing closely, and empathizing with lives around us. Theater helps in developing, understanding, and expressing the characters in a lucid fashion, thereby increasing the facility in languages. Now, before I move further with our deliberations, I request the audience to raise questions, if any. Please raise your hand in that case. I don't have anyone. Okay, now let's learn more about art integration from Rashi ma'am. Thank you so much. Let's move on to Rashi ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your beautiful presentation and a very warm welcome to everyone present here. Prabhat sir, can I have the next slide, please? So before I begin my presentation, I would like to ask each one of you, what do you understand by art integration? I'd really appreciate if you can write your answers in the chat box. What do you understand by integration? Sorry. What do you understand by art integration? First, I would like to know your insights. What do you understand by art integration? Would anyone like to raise their hands and answer? Anita ma'am, would you like to answer? Learning concepts using art, way of teaching, yes, combining arts with maths. Beautiful answers pouring in. Yes, Anita ma'am, you were saying something, sorry.
Ma'am, teaching the students and construct and demonstrate understanding through the art form by introducing the subject in the, yes ma'am.
Beautiful interpretation, and so many other interpretations are also pouring in. I'm so glad you all have diverse definitions, and I'm really glad to read all of them. They are really nice, interesting. So basically, let me add to what you all think art integration is. Basically, art integration is a research-based strategy that has been utilized in our classrooms for more than 30 years. It is a pathway towards teaching and reaching every child. As you can see on my screen, using art integration, no child will be left behind. It is also helpful in empowering educators in their professional growth. Yet, this approach is still somewhat misunderstood by many in the educational community. So come, let's delve into this metaphoric ocean of unexplored knowledge together. I hope by the end, we will be able to help you unravel the hidden treasure of art that we have been exploring for a while, and today we would like to share it with you all. So the second thing that I'm going to discuss today is importance of art education. Why art education is important. See, as you can see in my picture, there are 3 students and all 3 have different interpretations of a pie. The first person can hear the word pie and can picture it. The second person can visualize the pie and can think and make an image of pie in her mind. Whereas the third child, she can relate to the pie with its taste. So from this picture, we can easily infer that every learner has a different learning style, and it is important to cater to all of them in your classroom. So here, the role of art becomes significant. Working with the arts help learners develop creative problem-solving skills. Teaching through the arts can present difficult concepts visually, making them more easy to understand. Next slide, Prabhat sir. See, as you can see on my screen, we all have read this book, Goldilocks and the Three Bears, as a child. And if we have to make it easy for students, we can help them create mind maps like this, as you can see on my screen. I have written the name Goldilocks and I've drawn just a small figure. And inside the figure, I have written all the adjectives related to her. And around the picture, I have written all the verbs, all the activities that Goldilocks did. So this way we can make them more excited for the lessons. We can ask them to create such things for different lessons and poems and all language material that we have. So this way teaching arts can present difficult concepts really, and it makes them easy for them to comprehend. Also, colors and sketches play an important role in inciting them. You may notice on the next slide, sir. See, this is a slide in which I have put 2 pictures of newspapers. You may notice that our newspapers were less appealing in the yesteryears than the newspapers we have now. I'm sure by looking at both these pictures, you are more inclined to read the one on the right-hand side because it is more colorful and it has more pictures. So this shows the importance of arts, colors, pictures in our life. Next slide, sir. Now, art forms, there are many art forms like music, dance, sketching, coloring, origami. These art forms are quite engaging and children respond to them quickly. And I believe all of us agree to it. So that is why art is really important to use in our lessons, in our language, to make learners more interested, to help them retain their knowledge for a longer time. So now I have a few interesting ways in which I have inculcated art in my classes, and I would really like to share all of it with all of you. So let's begin. Next slide, sir. So the first slide that I'm going to show you here is Fold Me a Poem. Basically, through this way, I'm going to tell you how I inculcated crafts in teaching poetry to my students. Well, to inculcate arts, language teachers can help students create something that they could relate to in order to incite their interest and to help them bond with their lessons. Students treasure their creations and they love to profoundly flaunt them. When they have an object to show and relate it to it, their lessons and show and relate it to their lesson, they are more likely to retain that lesson. If they have something to show that is related to their lesson, they are more likely to have the knowledge, more likely to express it better, more likely to retain their information. It is like learning by doing. The ancient Chinese philosopher Confucius also expressed his belief in the importance of learning from experience. He says, I hear and I forget. I see and I remember. But when I do, I understand. Likewise, you might forget the content of today's webinar, but you all will remember what all activities you all did today with us. So talking about activities, I have an interesting poem right in front of you. I'm going to read a few lines and then I would ask you all to bring your origami sheets forward and we'll do a simple activity. So here it goes. Day by day, I float my paper boats, one by one, down the running stream. In big black letters, I write my name on them and the name of the village where I live in. I hope that someone in some strange land will find them and know who I am. So this poem tells us, a few lines I have read, it clearly depicts that the poet, the child, is relating the paper boats as a symbol of sending his identity across the world. He just wants to connect with the outer world, and he is making a boat a symbol for connecting him to the outer world. So today I'm going to help you create such boats. I'm sorry I dropped it. We are going to make such boats and we are going to create this activity and we are going to recreate this experience that children actually feel when they have something to associate with their lessons. So I request you all to please bring forth your sheets, and you can see the instructions on my screen as well, and you can follow it with me as well. First thing we have to do is we have to fold our sheet into half. I'll do it quickly. Please do it quickly with me. I'll take the support of the table and I'm going to do it. You can fold it further in the center like this, so that we will have a crease here in the center. And here now we have to make two triangles. We'll bring these corners down at the middle of the paper. I hope all of you can follow my instructions. Please unmute yourself and ask me if you face any confusion, any problems. So see, I've brought two triangles and I've made two triangles like this. Now we have to bring this bottom strip upwards in a way we have to cover these triangles with it. So let's do it, and we have to do it both ways. Please be a little quick in doing this. So see, we will reach to this position where we can just open it from the center, and we can also use it as a hat for any other lesson that we might have to teach. So after doing this, we have to open it and we have to bring this top point to this bottom, and we need to press it like this. And now after this, we have to bring this opening side pointer down again here from both the sides. Let's do it. Sorry, I'm doing a little quick, and I hope you will be able to follow me, at least some of you. So again, we can open it. Oh wow, Sharmishta ma'am is way ahead of me. So I know most of you must be aware of how to make a boat. So this was
कुछ ही नहीं बना राशि मुझसे, 3 बार फोल्ड ही हुए हैं बस, इतनी जल्दी
गया।
Ma'am, I have made it.
I have made it.
Pot is ready too.
I have also made.
मेरा जो हो गया
ये तो हम लोग बचपन में बनाते थे जब बारिश
सही कहा सुमन।
Done, ma'am.
मैं तो यही रह गई। शर्मिष्ठा मैं यही रह गई बस, उसके बाद कुछ नहीं आया मुझको।
It's really nice. You can follow the instructions, ma'am, as is given.
इसने बहुत जल्दी जल्दी किया भाई।
Memories of childhood.
कविता मैम आप 4 पे हो, पॉइंट नंबर 4 और 4 से 5 में जाना है।
4 से 5 में जाना है। अच्छा इसको क्या करना है?
नीचे से फोल्ड करना है।
अच्छा ये वाला बाहर की तरफ या अंदर की तरफ?
बाहर की तरफ।
अच्छा ओके, हाँ करा।
दोनों तरफ ही करना है, बोथ द साइड।
दोनों तरफ से फोल्ड करो उसको, दोनों तरफ से फोल्ड करो,
दोनों तरफ से
फिर
बाहर
एक
की
और
तरफ।
करो।
अच्छा ओके।
So sorry for the technical glitch. My bad. It has never happened in my society, but unfortunately, my electricity went off. It decided to go off at the right moment.
अब
इसके बाद उसको खोलो, अंदर हाथ देके उसको खोलो, उल्टा
अच्छा।
उसको, अब बीच वाले से उसको सीधा करो, सीधा करो।
Thank you, Kavita ma'am. You are participating so well. Thank you all the teachers for bearing with me.
कविता मैम जिसको बनाया उसी को नहीं खोलना था।
Glitch. Thank you, Anita ma'am. It looks beautiful. Sumna ma'am, very beautiful. Anju ma'am, very nice. Thank you. So as I was telling you, such things, it's a beautiful small boat. It's a simple activity. Thank you, Niladri sir, for assisting us. Thank you. So it's just, look, it's a simple activity, but you see, by doing such activities, we can really get our students interested towards a lesson. And it might be a small thing for us, but it's a big, impactful thing for a child. And it's kind of a fond memory that we can create for them. So moving on, let's discuss how we can teach vocabulary to our students. But before that, I will like to show you how I integrated art in my fourth class classrooms and fifth class classrooms. So here is the first activity. I did it with Niladri sir. My lesson was these little things, and it was an origami activity. And I forgot to tell you, what is origami? Origami is a Japanese art. It is a paper folding Japanese art. And this is how we created. One side of the origami sheet is colored and the other one is white. So the child here made simple things that he could relate to, a heart and a beautiful bird. And in class 5, next slide, sir, we did worldly art card making activity. I did it with Pranjali ma'am. And here students created beautiful Friendships Day cards for their friends. So they learned worldly art, they learned the value of friendship. They also were able to recall and remember the story of Damon and Pythias, what happened in the story, all through one card, one beautiful art activity, and they could remember so much from all of it. So it's a beautiful way of, making our English lessons interesting. So moving further, let's discuss vocabulary. So as you can see on my screen, I have this new art form, which is not so new, it's old, but we have recently started using it in our primary classroom. So I thought I would share it with you. So this is a new way of introducing vocabulary to a child's mind. We have used GIFs. Before I tell you another activity, before I would request everyone to participate in this activity, I would like to tell you what GIF art is. Well, GIF art is a form of digital art that emerged in 1987. This technology for animated GIF has become increasingly advanced through the years. So let's see how they can be used. From the visible GIFs on my screen, I request you all, can you please suggest the probable meaning? Both these GIFs are, I'm associating both these GIFs with the word effusive. Okay, for these GIFs, I am introducing a new word, effusive. Can you all predict the meaning, the probable meaning for these GIFs? Can you please write in the chat box so that I can read, or you may raise your hand to answer. What do you understand by looking at these GIFs, these live pictures? Yuvraj sir, Sharmishta ma'am. Very nice, thank you ma'am. Very excited. Yes, Shimona ma'am excited. Sharmishta ma'am, yeah, okay. Reena ma'am says excited. Yes, so you are almost correct. The meaning is excited. The meaning is enthusiasm, a lot of enthusiasm. So almost all of you have given me correct answers, and I'm really thankful for your answers, great answers. It means extreme enthusiasm. As we can see, the characters of the GIF are displaying, wow, extreme excitement. They are really happy about something. So we can easily, relate so many new words with GIFs to help learners understand the word better, to help them relate it to it, to help them, retain that word in their memory for a longer time. So, well, I can vouch for it, as our learners of class 4 and 5 have responded really well to such kind of vocabulary skills. Our English primary department is making vocabulary videos every week, and we are proud to tell you that they are quite effective and has helped all our learners. So now I would like to show you the example of one of our slides of our vocabulary videos that we are sharing every week. Prabhat sir, please play it.
So the first word that we are going to learn today is gigantic. Please repeat after me. Gigantic. Please repeat. Gigantic. It means huge, something very big, large. As you can see in the GIF that I have put here, there is a big, huge man whom we can also call as gigantic. Some of the sentences from gigantic are: the gigantic girl in the picture is playing with a dwarf man. The buildings in the city are gigantic.
So see, I have related the word gigantic again with this GIF. The student might forget the word, they might forget the meaning, but whenever this word is going to come in front of them, whenever they are going to read this word anywhere in any story, any novel, if you are going to read it, you're definitely going to recall this GIF. Your brain is going to work accordingly, and it's going to help you retain this image, and it's going to bring it back in your memory whenever you are going to see this word gigantic. So art is truly magical. We can easily help learners understand better by using their visual skills, creativity, and interpretation. So moving forward, let me discuss with you now how we can use grammar in using
word
please.
Learn is.
Next slide, sir. Yeah. So now I would like to share with you all how we can teach grammar using different forms of music and dance. Well, you don't need to be an artist, actor, or a musician to give your students a chance to express their creativity. Of course, in our classrooms, we can have music and dance teachers helping us, but even if we don't have their help, even if they're busy, or even if we definitely can include them, but still, if you, as a language teacher, you still can help your learners tap a little feet and sing in their melodious voices, along with the games, live examples, and smart classes. We can include a little rhyming and rapping in our classrooms to make grammar lessons more interesting. The main motive of doing all these activities is basically to make them more interested, make them feel more engaging towards all the lessons that they are learning. So let's see this video. Sir, please this video.
This word I'd like to introduce you to. This word doesn't sit around, you know what I'm saying? Now what's the word on the street? Who
Who likes to dance to the beat? Who likes to run with his feet? Who likes to shake when we meet? Who likes to come when we call? Who likes to catch when you throw a ball? Who likes to shop at the mall? Yeah, verb is the word. Who does it all? Yeah, a verb is a word that tells you something's gonna happen. A crazy word who has the moves and always loves to take some action. Yeah, a verb takes some action. Yeah, a verb takes some action. Yeah, a verb is a word that tells you something's gonna happen. A crazy word who has the moves and always loves to take some action. Take some action. Now it's the word on the town who likes to sit with a noun, who likes to dig in the ground, who likes to spin all around, who likes to jump like a spring, who likes to pump when you push a swing, who likes to stand nice and tall. Yeah, verb is a word that does it all. Yeah, a verb is a word that tells you something's gonna happen. A crazy word who has the moves and always loves to take some action. A verb takes some action.
Thank you so much, sir. So likewise, we can introduce all our topics of grammars to our children. See, it's an interesting way of introducing verbs to our students. We can easily play this video at the beginning and we can, get them dancing and singing, and then we can tell them, okay, all the activities you just did were verbs, all the action words, they are verbs, they are called verbs in English language. And likewise, other topics can also be taught to our learners. The catchy music is sure to make them repeat the words again and again, and this way they will revise and retain a grammar topic for a longer time. They will feel as if they're enjoying the music and dancing, when actually they will be studying the whole time. So it's a win-win for both of us, for teachers, for parents, and for students. So moving on, art eases understanding. It makes all the language and all the lessons really comprehensible. So to help learners comprehend, write, and express better, we can use art forms of sketching, illustrating, and even theater. Inciting the thought process of a person is a work of a language, whereas picturing thoughts and expressing them is done through art. While reading a lesson, many images are formed in an adult's brain. I hope you all agree with it. We all can imagine, we all can think, right? We all can, while reading something like Shamishta ma'am made you do an activity, we were able to picture. All of us had different ideas of a particular content, but we all can make images in our brain. However, some children need help to develop those images. That help can be given by the art form of sketching and acting. So a child brain, not all children, but some of them need a little assistance. So we can do that by showing them art forms, by showing them art sketches or pictures or GIFs or videos. Next slide, sir. So see, adult's brain, we are able to picture better. Some child can picture things, but some child needs assistance, so we can really assist them. So many a time children read dramas, stories, and even factual lessons that they're unable to picture properly in their minds. All they can think of is the black font in their books, and a few pictures that are tagged along it. In such a scenario, when a young child mind is exposed to a picture, a comic strip, a sketch, or a GIF, next slide, sir, like these, they comprehend better. So as you can see on my screen, if I am going to talk about coronavirus and I'm going to show all these sketches and a comic strip and a GIF, they are going to able to picture better. They're going to understand better. So let me help you picture about what I just talked. I'm going to show you a small video story. It doesn't have any audio. I mean, it does have music, but it doesn't have any dialogues. And I'm requesting you all to please participate and give me the narration of your understanding of the story. Please watch it very carefully, and I would really appreciate if you could all give me your interpretations. I would really look forward to, I am looking forward to hear them. So teachers, thank you, Vibha ma'am. I've been reading your answers. You have already started giving it. I want a full narration of the story now. Very good interpretations, Vibha ma'am. She has talked about problem solving skills and the child doing all the activities. Thank you, Mesh ma'am. Thinking skills can be improved, getting solutions, yes. But what is the complete interpretation? How do you put this story in words? Can anybody put this story in words? Smriti ma'am, would you like to put it in words?
Sure, Rashi ma'am. So for me, it would be once upon a time, a girl was strolling around and she went to the park there to a riverside. That is what I could feel, or a lakeside. And there she found, different things. She was speaking here and there and analyzing things around her. She found a swing on a tree. She tried to get on it, but it was far beyond her reach. She continued exploring the place, and then eventually when she came back, she came back, which was an achievement for her to come back and try again. And she saw so many swings on that particular tree. And in the meanwhile, while she was exploring, she saw beautiful things in the nature around her. And it was a happy ending because eventually she understood that, yes, there are swings and I can also try to get on it.
Thank you, Smriti ma'am. That was a beautiful interpretation. And Omkar sir, Leena ma'am, Shweta ma'am, Manisha ma'am, everyone, thank you for your beautiful interpretations. Likewise, like you all had multiple approaches to the story, a student can also have multiple approaches to a story. Thank you, Asha ma'am. It looks really nice. One day, Pinky, as usual, went to play near the huge tree near the river. Wow, you have written the complete story. Beautiful, ma'am. Thank you. So, as I was saying, we can have multiple approaches to a story, and therefore, a student can also have multiple approaches to a story. And this can help them critically think. If we are going to use this technique of showing them a story and asking their approaches about it, we can help them think critically about a story, and we can help them look at a story from diverse angles. Not only this will broaden their thought process, but it will also make them think out of the box. Once they are familiarized with such concepts, we can also use it alternatively to express their understanding of a story by asking them to sketch or enact their thoughts. We can just basically tell them a story verbally and we can ask them to sketch it. This way we will help them build their comprehension skills. Likewise, I asked your narration, so we can work on the children's speaking skills. We can also ask them to write a story by looking at this. We can help them improve their writing skills. So whole language concept can be taken here, and we can just work on all the language skills of our students using art. So let me sum it up. Art integration has diverse benefits. It is inclusive, motivating, and extremely fun. The best part of art integration is that children feel that they are playing and learning happens on its own. It also provides an opportunity to bring back creativity and increase student achievement at the same time. Even the recommendations of Natural Curriculum Framework 2005 state that the art education at all stages enables students to fully appreciate and experience the beauty of the universe and helps in their healthy mental development. It also builds critical thinking skills. It also empowers the educators and provides them with the sense of fulfillment as we get to engage all our learners. Also, as per the NCERT's art integration guidelines, utilizing visual and performing arts in teaching learning process encourages creativity, develops problem-solving abilities, improve the ability to handle mental imagery, as well as an understanding for using spaces creatively. And this leads to holistic learning and development of a child. So to conclude, language was the medium through which I communicated today, and art was my presentation. Hopefully, together they served the purpose and made this webinar worthwhile for all of you. So now let us reflect on our learning today. Please fill in the Google form. The link will be shared in the chat box, and I'm open for all your questions. If you have anything to ask, you may ask me. We would be really grateful to answer that. And we would really appreciate if you could fill in the Google form link. And in the end, I would like to pay my sincere regards. And before I do that, let me take the questions first. Any questions, anyone? Please raise your hands if you have any questions. All right, so I will take it forward. In the end, I would like to pay my sincere regards and heartfelt gratitude to our erudite leaders, our principal ma'am, vice principal ma'am, headmistress ma'ams, for providing us a platform to express ourselves. It was quite encouraging, leaders. I would also like to thank and pay my regards to principals of all our sister schools and our colleagues who have joined us today. Thank you so much to everyone, and a special thanks to Prabhat sir for providing technical support. We had a great time, and we hope this webinar will prove useful to you. Thank you everyone once again.
Thank you, Rashi and Sharmishta. It was a delight. What a wonderful session. And I think all the teachers who are here definitely must have got interesting ideas. And I think they are going to implement it. And I really loved making paper boat. So thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you all the teachers for joining us today. Thank you so much.